Hey guys, Sprite here. It's good to finally have this video up for you guys. Thanks everyone for waiting so patiently. I know I promise a lot of things that I don't end up doing, and that's pretty terrible of me, and that's something I really want to improve on. With all that out of the way, I hope you enjoy this harem video that a lot of you asked for. Number 10. Mayo Cheeky. When you've got acute xenophobia, even a pretty girl can be a milady, and as the sparring partner for his family of female wrestlers, Sakamachi has the worst case ever. Just one touch makes his nose bleed, so school's a nightmare even before Kanade, the principal's twisted daughter, deduces both Kinajaro's feminine issue and that his name contains the sounds Chi and Kin back to back. But Chi-Kin's female troubles don't totally redline until a wrong turn in the men's room exposes the secret Subaru. Kanade's manservant has been hiding in the water closet, and if Subaru's cross-reactions concerning her cross-dressing aren't enough of a drag, Kinajaro's girl problems also include a haunted martial artist, a cat-eared fetishist, and his own sister, whose interest in wrestling a certain incorrectly packaged butler may result in an unexpected ending, and that's just the setup. So this anime, in my opinion, is just another one of those run-of-the-mill romance comedy harems, but despite the fact it's pretty generic, it's still a whole lot of fun from start to finish. You get the usual set of characters you might expect in a harem, but these characters have some unique little twists added to them that make them really stand out a little more than the usual. I would say it's much better at being a comedy than a romance, so I think that's something for you to consider if you're thinking about giving this anime a try. A lot of the side characters are actually pretty useful in this series. They definitely help the pacing and move things forward along at a steady pace. As with all romance series, you're probably wondering if there's any decent drama within the romance. I would tell you no. When I watched this anime, I thought of it as more of a light-hearted comedy, so that's something to keep in mind. Number 9. MM. There are twisted tales and twisted tales, but few are as twisted as poor Sado's, who just realised that he actually likes being made miserable. Of course, knowing that only makes him more miserable, which in turn, well, you get the idea. Desperate to break the circle, Sado volunteers for a special club where he hopes he can work through his issues, only to discover that the other members have equally complex issues to deal with. For example, the hyper-aggressive club president Itsurugi not only has a violent fear of cats, but also believes herself to be a god. Then there's Yuno, who's terrified of men, the nurse, who forces other people to perform cosplay, and Hayama, Sado's best friend and a compulsive cross-dresser, who's also the girl that Sado is infatuated with. In MM, every character has some sort of complex, which makes scenes really hilarious and lively. Too often in harem anime I come across boring characters, or just characters that fall flat, and make me lose interest in the series. This anime could technically be classified as a parody anime as well, because it does reference a lot of other shows. I know a lot of people don't necessarily like that aspect in shows, so I thought I'd let you guys know. All in all, it's definitely a good harem show and will most likely suit your needs. Number 8. Kanojo Go Flag Uritara. Suta is a high school boy who has the ability to visualize flags for future events, such as death flag, friendship flag, and romance flag. Despite the flag viewing ability, he avoids making friends with others due to a trauma he experienced in a ship submergence accident. 12 beautiful girls get interested in his strange way of living, and they begin to live with him at the school dorm. I remember watching this anime when it was first released, and I always thought of it as an overlooked little gem for that season. As well as having a nice group of girls for a very entertaining harem, this anime decided to go a little dramatic with the story sometimes. I'm not saying the story is amazing because it isn't, but adding a sense of drama and seriousness over the comedic value of this anime was seriously a good idea, and made me stick around for later episodes. It's a lot of fun, but probably not for people who are looking for more mature anime. Number 7. Boku wa Tomodachi ga Sukanai. Hasegawa Kodaka has transferred schools, and he's having a hard time making friends. It doesn't help that his blonde hair tends to make people think he's a delinquent. One day, he runs into his bad-tempered solitary classmate Yuzora while she's talking animatedly to her imaginary friend Tomo. Realising that neither of them have any friends, they decide that the best way to alter this situation is to form a club and start recruiting. That is how the Neighbours Club was formed, a club specifically designed for people who don't have many friends. As other lonely classmates slowly join their little club, they'll try to learn how to build friendships through cooking together, playing games, and other group activities. But will this group of relationship challenge misfits really be able to get along? It actually took me a few tries for me to finally like this anime because it's really slow starting off. What I mean by that is the romance just doesn't happen until a bit later on in the series, so be mindful of that. The emphasis on action really didn't make me enjoy it at first, but I decided to be patient and give the show more time. I must say, I'm pleased with my judgment. The element I like most in this anime is the characters for sure. They are just so lively and interesting to watch. Of course, you can have your generic personalities, but that doesn't really matter considering each character plays their role so well. The story is your typical club-related high school plot, so not much in the way of originality there, but despite that, it's an anime that shines with quality in a lot of areas. Give it a try. Number 6, and I'm sorry guys, I really cannot pronounce that for the life of me. On his way to school, Junichi saves a girl from danger. Later, due to a misunderstanding, he kisses her. Shocked and disgusted, and without understanding what just happened or why, she screams at him and tells him to just die. As it turns out, the girl, Yui, is a new transfer student, and much to the surprise of Junichi and his younger sister Minato, their father arranged for Yui to be Junichi's future wife. Of course, getting married to that perverted idiot is the absolute last thing Yui wants. Junichi's crazy school life with his bride apparent has begun. This anime surprised me so much. It was around Christmas time that I found out about this anime, and I couldn't believe it took me that long to notice its existence, but I guess it's better late than never. By today's standards, it's probably a decent show, but I wanted to add it to the list because it's a pretty old anime. I don't know what it is with older romance anime, but I seem to enjoy them a lot more than newer ones. Maybe this is because older anime seem to be more serious and true to life. That's the way I felt about this anime, and it made me enjoy it all the more. A great balance of comedy and drama. I especially like the last few episodes because of the serious tone and drama, and the ending also surprised me because the MC actually picks a girl. I'm so used to anime with normal harem endings that I found an ending like that to be very refreshing. Number 5. Siri Tsuka no Blade Dance. Only a pure maiden can have the privilege to contract with the spirit. In the Spirit Academy, trained maidens of noble families are gathered and given an elite's education to become spirit contractors. A boy, Kamito, peeped by accident at a girl, Claire, while she was taking a bath, and he ended up making a contract with the spirit she wanted. Yes, Kamito is an irregular boy spirit contractor whose existence was thought impossible until now. What will Kamito's destiny lead to? The main reason I like this anime so much is definitely the main character, Kamito. He's another one of those likeable characters, but also has a good amount of recognisable traits that stray away from the normality of other male leads. He's neither a wimp or a dense character, which is another breath of fresh air from the oversaturation of dense male leads that just can't handle themselves against women. I don't even need to explain the female characters because you're already used to female harem characters by now. Not much more to say about this little gem, but if you haven't seen it already, give it some attention because it's a lot of fun. Number 4, Seikano. The life of Tomiya, a high school otaku working part-time to support his BD hoarding. With remarkable luck, he bumps headfirst into Megumi, the most beautiful girl he has ever seen. Seikano is a pretty recent release, but I was a bit skeptical when I first saw what this anime was about. Even so, I decided to give it a go, and I was pretty surprised. Sure, it's got pretty generic characters, but I thought this setting was a little refreshing from all the other harems out there. Despite the fact this anime is about game making, it introduced a decent amount of romance throughout. Of course, not much romance at all will be pretty boring, but this anime seems to have found a great balance between the two. I kinda like it when there's multiple girls that somehow get jealous over the MC. I know that sounds horrible, but I think it's really entertaining and more dramatic. All in all, this is a pretty good anime that's worth checking out. Number 3. Fuck it. When boys suddenly get into places where they've never been allowed before, some girls tend to get upset. So when the decision is made to merge the elite Yuihime Girls Private Academy and the coeducational Kagami Dai Private Academy, everyone wants to take extra care in avoiding trouble while bringing the two privates together. Therefore, rather than just bringing the Kagami Dai boys into the Yuihime Girls School all at once, a plan is concocted in which a group of test males will be inserted into the Girls Private Academy first. Thus, poor young Shingo finds himself being thrown as a sacrificial lamb to the lioness of the Yuihime, who aren't exactly waiting for him with open arms. Will Shingo manage to survive the estrogen-soaked death pit that is Yuihime? Can the girls learn to be more receptive to the boys? And just how long until something involving panties will cause emotions to flare, sparks to fly, and the battle of the sexes to explode? What I like about this show is the seemingly mature male lead character. I get pretty tired of seeing guys that are just plain awkward and have no sense of direction or confidence. With every anime you have the side characters, but to me, a few of the girls in this series seem to be tossed to the side more often. Whether you like that or not, it's your opinion, but I personally like that aspect more because it allows a deeper relationship to be built with just the male lead and maybe one or two other girls from the harem. If there are too many girls in a harem, it can feel like there's no real progress being made, which is very frustrating. I highly recommend this one, guys. Number 2, Yushibu. The story revolves around Raoul, a boy who did not become a hero since the Demon Lord was already defeated just before his hero exams. His dreams dashed, Raoul spends his days working at a magic shop in the capital. One day, a part-time job seeker appears at a shop with an amazing resume. I didn't actually finish this anime and I don't really know why I lost interest, but I remember it being pretty damn hilarious at the time. I'll probably come back to it soon though. Sure, it has that fantasy element that so many other harem anime have incorporated over the years, but this one is a fantasy anime done right. I remember the main female lead being one of the main standout characters with her blunt and loud statements. Those statements were usually directed at the main male lead. Just seeing his reactions to everything made it entertaining enough on its own. I don't really like the fantasy genre being shoved into harem anime because it happens all too much now. I much prefer all harem and romance anime to be stripped down to just characters and good settings. You know, a town or a city setting or work setting, stuff like that. Why have all of these meaningless fantasy things going on? It's just distracting and takes my attention off the main characters. Even though I'm not much of a fan of the setting, I still recommend you give it a shot. Number 1, a good librarian like a good shepherd. The story is set at Shiomi Academy, a vast prestigious academy with a library that rivals Japan's National Library. As a member of the library club, Kiyotaro goes to the library to enjoy reading by himself. He then meets a second-year girl named Tsugumi through the efforts of a so-called shepherd, who fulfills people's wishes. Eventually, more people join the club thanks to the shepherd. I was going to save this anime for an underrated list, but so many people overlooked this little gem back in 2014. Yes, it has a shitty magic theme that's just shoveled in there for good measure, but even so, it made up for that with a host of good characters. In this anime, you really feel like the main character has a strong bond with the characters. The story isn't that interesting at all, but that won't matter because you won't even give a shit, to be honest. The best thing about this anime is the romance and character bonding. There's more than one love interest spicing everything up a bit, and there are many embarrassing romance scenes that put the icing on the cake, not to mention the beautiful ending theme. It starts off with this really interesting piano melody that's just a pleasure to listen to. It makes me feel really nostalgic when I hear it. So that's it for my second edition Harem video, guys. Feel free to drop a comment with anything you want to discuss. That's it from me, and have a good one, guys.